Hey, what's happening, y'all? I felt that this was actually appropriate for me to do this video here because it's very mind-boggling and disturbing to see what has transpired over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, particularly after the aftermath of the Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev fight. Now, a lot of people are criticizing Andre Ward more than ever. They're calling him a paper champion. They're still calling him a coward. They said you ran from Kovalev in the fight. You got dominated. You got a gift decision. Kovalev was robbed. Blah 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 blah. And mind you, these are mainly the Golovkin fans who are out in assault, as a group who are attacking Andre Ward. And believe me, these guys were very critical of Sergey Kovalev as well, because whenever you debate with them about Golovkin's resume and his career, and you compare and contrast it to Sergey Kovalev, we argue that Sergey Kovalev has a better resume and is far more accomplished than Golovkin, and they just blow up a storm. They just explode over that, and they discredit Kovalev because they say, well, he beat an old man Bernard Hopkins, he beat a Jean Pascal, blah blah blah. But look, first things first, Bernard Hopkins and Jean Pascal were both rated top fighters. They were both lineal champions in their division. Okay, Bernard Hopkins was one time a pound for pound best fighter. He was a unified champion before Kovalev beat him, and John Pascal was also a pound for pound fighter as well when he beat Chad Dawson and had some successful defense with his WBC title at light heavyweight. So Kovalev actually beat champions not only in their backyard, he took their titles away from them, okay? He beat them for their titles, even though it was in a dominated fashion or whether it was in a close contested fashion, okay? So either way it goes, he took their titles. As opposed to Golovkin. Golovkin has been gifted two belts, out of the two of the three belts that he has right now. And he hasn't fought any not top. He hasn't fought any pound for pound fighters in his division. So, I mean, that's another point of the arc. That's another point to be told in another video. But that's what it is. So, anyways, my point is they were already having talking points set up if Andre Ward had beaten Sergey Kovalev in a convincing fashion. They still would have discredited Ward either way it goes. And I find that very disturbing because it seems like they don't want to give this man any credit whatsoever. They dismissed his Super 6 accomplishments. They dismissed his, win against Kovalev. They dismissed his, him as being champion. It's like, it's disturbing to me. It's very disturbing. And I thought it'd be best to address this, okay? Let me say this. You have every right to criticize a fighter. Okay, I don't care if it's Andre Ward. I don't care if it's Sergey Kovalev. I don't care if it's Canelo Alvarez. I don't care if it's Francisco Vargas. I don't care if it's Orlando Salido, Vasily Lomachenko, Manny Pacquiao. I don't care who it is. But be objective when it comes to your criticism, okay? Now, I've been accused for being biased towards Andre Ward. All right, first of all, those who say that about me are totally inaccurate. I've criticized Andre Ward when it had to be done. I criticized him for his poor business decisions. I criticized him for going through his litigation process with his then promoter Dan Goossen. I understand there is a situation where he had to dispute it, but for him to go through in and out of court four times, losing that case against Goossen and refusing to fight to honor his contract under Goossen while he lost his case four times, I felt that he gave away all his glory days through that litigation battle, okay? And I criticized him for that. All right. And I also criticized him for not taking the fight with Lucien Boutte, even though Lucien Boutte was a guy who didn't partake in the Super 6 tournament where he could have fought Ward, where he had a chance to do it, but he didn't do it there. All right. But needless to say, I criticized him for that, for not taking the fight with Boutte after the Super 6. But at least I can be objective and give the man credit when credit is due. I've been very critical with Gennady Golovkin. Yes, as of late I have, but I have given Golovkin credit for some of the things he's done in the ring and some of the opponents he's beat. I've been critical of Manny Pacquiao, but I've given him credit and homage to his achievements, the things he's done in the ring. Okay, I've been critical of Adrian Broner, but I've given him some credit for the things he's done. I've been very critical of Floyd Mayweather. I cannot stand Floyd Mayweather. But I'm not going to sit here and completely dismiss his career. I've commended the things he's did, moving up in weight. He's taken on some challenges like formidable challenges like Diego Corrales, God rest his soul. He beat him. He's beaten Ricky Hatton. I can go on and on and on. He beat Canelo Alvarez. So you got to give Floyd credit for that. But needless to say, it's just disturbing. Is Andre Ward Floyd Mayweather? And this is to the Golovkin fans or the Andre Ward detractors. Why do you treat Andre Ward as if he's Floyd Mayweather? And the reason why I say that is because Floyd Mayweather did a lot of things that pissed a lot of people off, which I can understand, okay? He degraded the sport that he competed in. He degraded the fighters that came before him. And he degraded, which many consider the greatest of all time before his passing, degraded him. And I didn't like that at all. I felt Floyd went too far with that, and yet he got a pass for doing that. Absolutely, I understand why everybody had a gripe with him. But Andre Ward, come on now. What has he done to deserve this type of hate and criticism and contempt? Okay, I actually, this is an honest question. I'll propose this to any of you right now who's listening to this video. But those I did ask that very question, you know what they said? They said, well, Ward's a diva. He's a diva. He's always got to have things his way. I'm like, well, okay, I get that, but there's a lot of fighters are divas. Canelo Alvarez is a diva. Miguel Cotto is a diva. Oscar De La Hoya was a notorious diva. Gennady Golovkin is a diva. You know why he's a diva? Because Golovkin refuses to pay high-profile fighters a certain split, and this is the reason why he's having trouble getting fights, getting in the ring with these guys. Or I say, he's having trouble getting these guys in the ring with him. Yeah, I'm not saying all that is entirely his fault, why these guys won't fight him, but mainly is due to the fact that he refuses to pay these guys a higher split. Okay? That's what's going on right now. So my bottom line is that the diva argument, I think, is very bland. I just don't understand what is the contempt. Why does he deserve this type of criticism? Leading up to this Golovkin situation, let me remind everybody, it was Gennady Golovkin and his team, by that matter, I should say, who called out the 154-pound division. They called out the 160 division. They called out the 168 division when Ward was the linear and the best fighter in that division pound for pound. Which, who he cleaned out, by the way, the division that he cleaned out, by the way. And they called out the 175 division. That's what they did. That's what they did. Okay, when the Heat got, when the Heat got on their asses, they decided to scale that back from 154 to 168. And then, all of a sudden, when the things start to unravel, they decided to say, you know what, we'll fight Chavez Jr. and Carl Froch at 168. But when Andre Ward responds to the challenge, the best fighter in that division, they want to talk about catch weights. They said, okay, Ward, we'll fight you, but you have to agree to a 164 catch weight 50-50 split. And yet Andre Ward gets criticized for that whole situation. Okay, because he countered back with the offer saying, okay, we'll fight, but it has to be 168 50-50, and Golovkin and his team rejected it. Now, the timing of the offer that the counter offer that Andre Ward sent to Golovkin and his team, yeah, it was a bit unusual, given the fact that the David Lemieux fight was announced. But the fact of the matter is that fight could have been made for a later date afterwards. I don't want to hear that excuse that, oh, they had other plans. No. Many fighters, if they have other plans, if they really were interested in fighting this particular individual and they see it's very lucrative or whatnot, they'll take the fight. They were taking it. Golovkin and his team could have taken the fight with Andre Ward, and they failed, and they didn't capitalize on it. They said to this day that they don't regret not fighting him. Okay? But yet Andre Ward gets criticized for that whole situation, how it blew over. All the detractors and the Golovkin fans were campaigning and saying, Andre Ward, stop being a coward. Don't worry about Gennady Golovkin. You don't need to worry about him. Go up and wait, fight Sergey Kovalev. Fight him. And what does Andre Ward do? He moves up. He takes the challenge. But no credit for that, right? I didn't see any videos at all give him any credit for stepping up to the challenge. Because these people have been going out and been complaining for the last 2 years about the best not fighting the best. We're not seeing the good fights. Nobody wants to fight each other. Well, this guy is doing it. He's out there. He actually stepped up and fight the second pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, a killer by the name of Sergey Kovalev, a man who killed another fighter in the ring 5 years ago. who has scary power at light heavyweight, who brutalizes opponents with his power and his stiff jabs. That's who Andre Ward had to fight a couple Saturdays ago. But before that fight actually got signed and delivered, when both Ward and Kovalev got through their interim fights, this whole bickering about Andre Ward not showing up for the press conference, a lot of the detractors jumped on it. They said, oh, you see, Ward's not serious about the fight. He's going to get out of it. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Because Kathy Duva came out and said that, well, surprising he didn't show up, all this stuff, blah, 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 But next thing you know, it turns out that Andre Ward actually called Duva and her team right after he concluded his Alexander Brand fight that he wasn't going to fly to LA to show up for the press conference. And yet, when the fight actually got confirmed and everything was agreed upon as far as the terms is concerned, there were no retraction videos on that. No one who criticized Ward for not showing up for the press conference, everyone who criticized him for that, they didn't offer no apology to him. They didn't say, you know what? Andre Ward proved me wrong. I made a mistake. I jumped on it. He actually signed on to the fight. Where was the retraction and where was the commendable approach for Andre Ward for actually signing on and confirming for the fight? None whatsoever. None. And the next they said, you know what? He's going to fake an injury. He's going to fake an injury. He's going to get out of the fight. That didn't happen either. He went through it. The next they said, you know what? Oh, Kovalev knock his ass out. Kovalev is going to destroy him. Wow. Just all the things you said about this man that turned out to be false, you guys offer no apology to him. None whatsoever. Look, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that Andre Ward is a saint. No, he's not a saint. Nobody's a saint. But I'm just telling you that he does not, the things he's doing, the things in his approach, the things he's saying, it doesn't warrant the criticism that you guys gave Floyd Mayweather, and rightfully so. Okay? It doesn't matter what you think about the result of the fight, of how, if you felt that Kovalev got robbed, which I think that's nonsense and ludicrous, whatnot. The fact is the man went in the ring against him, gave him a very tough fight, and he won. None. No credit for that whatsoever. No credit for, for Ward saying, you know what, I'm glad he got in the ring with Kovalev, blah, blah, blah. But I know a couple guys said that, you know what, I actually commend him for getting in the ring with him. But all the people who screaming robbery wouldn't even give him credit for getting in the ring with Kovalev. None. Instead, they attack him, call him a paper champion. Well, if he's a paper champion, then Kovalev should have knocked him out. In fact, you guys are doing a disservice to him because that makes Kovalev look bad for calling Andre Ward a paper champion, if you think about it. And another thing, I know after I had a conversation with Strictly Boxing News about this. I mean, I know he's been under a lot of heat lately, but he made a comment where he said that Andre Ward, he said that Sergey Kovalev beating Andre Ward would have been much better for boxing in the light heavyweight division. I know that's his thought, that's his opinion. Okay, fine. But I asked him specifically, I said, okay, why do you think that's Andre Ward winning the light heavyweight titles, the 3 titles that from Kovalev is not great for the division? Well, he quoted by saying, well, Andre Ward's recent comments towards Adonis Stevenson and the fact that he's been, somewhat reluctant about fighting his mandatories, whatnot. I don't like that approach, and that's the reason why I'm being very critical of him. I said, okay, fine, I understand that. But you have to understand that Andre Ward signed on to give Sergey Kovalev a rematch if he had lost the fight. So let's not jump on him. Let's not find him guilty until he's proven innocent. I understand those comments are kind of disturbing a little bit, but let's not jump on it right away. He does owe Sergey Kovalev a rematch, and it's an immediate rematch, by the way, Strictly Boxing News. And that fight will take place. Now, let you guys know, people are screaming that, well, this fight should take place in Russia. It's not going to happen in Russia because Kovalev and Ward agreed that the fight will not take place in Russia, nor it will take place in Oakland, California. So the rumor mill is that the rematch will be held in Barclays Center in New York, but I don't know how that's going to work. But we'll see we'll see as more details develop. But the fact is, Mr. Strictly Boxing News, I don't buy that narrative that Ward beating Kovalev is not a great sign for boxing. No. I don't buy that at all. And as a fact, yeah, again, we'll have to wait and see what Ward's approach is after he beats Sergey Kovalev. Okay? After he beats Sergey Kovalev in a rematch, if he does, and he decides that he's not going to fight his mandatories or he's not going to unify with Donna Stevenson, then we can criticize him for that. As of right now, it's too early to do so. Okay? That's my word out to you. Now, as far as Andre Ward is concerned, let's delve into his life a little bit, okay? This man is he's a Christian by faith, and he takes his religion very seriously, and he's a dedicated Christian, okay? He's dedicated. He gives back to his community, his community in the Bay Area, and he's honest, and he means well to his wife and his kids, okay? But again, I'm not saying he's a saint, but he doesn't disrespect the sport that he competes in. He has not degraded any legends that's come before him, and he has the highest regard and respect for the sport. How can you hate this man, and why are you trying to equate him to Floyd Mayweather? I'm not saying as far as the skill-wise and accomplishment is concerned. I'm just saying from the level of contempt that you guys are giving Andre. I think it's not fair that you guys are doing that to him. It's not fair. Oh man. Man, again, I have to say, you guys' behavior is very disturbing. And it has to stop. I'm not saying you don't have to be objective towards Ward. No. I'm just saying give the man some fucking credit when it's due and give him some fucking respect for taking the challenge. For doing the things that you guys been complaining about for the last couple of years. Giving us the good fights. Giving us an opponent that we want to see him get in the ring with. And he did it. And he didn't have to agree to it. But he signed on to it with his lucrative deal with HBO. That's all I got to say, man. I'm out.